You want to say that thing for a reason. I think that we get promptings and the urge to say something, and I think a lot of the times we dismiss it. We dismiss our truth for various reasons. I've done it. I'll dismiss it because I don't think it's the right time, or I think that maybe I've already talked too much, and and it never really feels good to like deny what's coming forward for me. And so most of the time I choose to say it, even if it's uncomfortable or I think it's not the right time. I have learned that there's always a reason I really, really want to say it. And it's not that I'm silly, and it's not, people say, oh, you're ADD, and, so that's become a thing that kind of started to infect my brain. Like, oh, I just want to say random things. Like, no, that's not it. Like, we dismiss ourselves and make ourselves so much smaller than we are. We will belittle ourselves and believe in something that's not true. We'll believe that we're just silly. And it's really us not seeing our worth, right? We're seeing that, like, the words that we have do not carry value, when in fact they do. And there's a reason that you want to say that. So why not say it? And I wanted to share this with you today. I shared about authentic expression in the past, and this is very much, hand in hand with that. Like, when you are not expressing your truth, when you are not expressing your love, you're suppressing your soul. You're denying your soul the right to speak. You're literally telling yourself, I'm not valuable. I should not speak. But we obviously know, like, when we say it out loud like that, that's what sounds silly. That's what sounds like completely outrageous. So anyway, before I continue ranting about that, you can go back to my other talks, and I think I have one listed as when you are not expressing your love, you are suppressing your soul, and I have another one on authentic expression. But anyway, I have a story for you that is just a divine example of how when we speak our truth and we follow those promptings as they come up, right? Like, not the next day, but when you want to say it and you say it, you are shown exactly why. Sometimes you might not be shown exactly why. You don't always need the answer. But I think the confirmation I received today was very evident that it was for me to then share further, because it's just such a perfect example. So I met this girl like weeks ago, and as soon as I met her and she told me her name, it was different than deja vu, right? It wasn't precisely deja vu. It was just like, I know you. Like, when I heard her name, I was like, yeah, that is your name. Like, it just made sense. And as I looked at her hair and her face, I'm like, no, I know you. But I knew that I didn't, like, in this lifetime, like, she was from a different state. Like, I knew that I didn't, like, know her as this version of me, but, like, my soul recognized her. And I've been so curious to watch how our relationship would unfold because of that. And it wasn't that she reminded me of someone else. Like, it was like, no, you remind me of you. But I didn't, like, tell her that at first. I didn't really thoroughly have the urge to share it with her. But I started to feel, as, like, the weeks went on, like, that I kind of wanted to share that with her. And I didn't know why. And usually I'll actually just share that kind of thing right away. Like, you are so familiar to me. But I don't think when we met, we had the time or something. Because, otherwise I probably would have. But today we met for a Bible study, and literally, like, as some of the other girls were talking, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, it was just pressing on me. Like, I wanted to literally interrupt the conversation to single her out and tell her, I know you. And I was like, this is like a strong feeling. Like, so I did wait, and then when it came to be a good time for me to like present that. I did. And I told her like pretty much as much as I said it here, like, no, like when you said your name, like it just made sense. Like I know you, and like you just feel so familiar to me. And she was literally brought to tears. And I was surprised by her reaction, but she shared with me that she received a blessing. And in this blessing, she was told she would cross paths with people that she was meant to help. And that when she met me, she knew I was one of those people, but that she didn't share that with me because she didn't want to scare me away. She thought I might find her weird. And when she said this, I got chills, and she had chills, and it was like this remembrance, like this rejoicement of two souls. And we just, sat there for a moment and just thankful for each other expressing their truth and being vulnerable, right? It's like that vulnerability. And it came about, and this is where it's just so divine timing. Like I could have shared it in past weeks. Like it's not like I was really afraid to share it with her. But then this day, I was like, I'm going to shout it from the rooftop right now. Like I just was like, I need to share this. And it happened to be right after we were talking about being bold. And we were talking about sharing your truth, and how we can just, by setting an example of being open on your spirituality or your religion or however it is that you perceive God, but just talking about it, like talking about your perspective, talking about your relationship with God, like inviting people to a Bible study or inviting people to something that resonates with you, where you feel your truth shining. And that these are ways, we can normalize that atmosphere and like create a safe environment for like-minded individuals to finally feel open to be free and speak their truth on what their belief is. Because we were talking about it, I was just laughing about it. We were like, I said, like, if you're a religious person or you're a spiritual person, like, that's like the most important thing to you. Like God is like the most important part of your life. if like that is where you're at spiritually. So the fact that for years it's been this thing to hide, or that's not talked about, or like we feel refrain to speak about it to like normal people. But then like, I've noticed this shift where people start talking about it more often, and then like the other person is like, timidly like, oh, I believe that too. Why on earth, like as God created beings, have we felt it almost shameful to speak about? And it's really this fear of rejection, right? Like we fear that someone's going to judge us or reject us. But like, if that's what your heart sings and dances to, then like, why not risk rejection from someone who won't understand for the person that will? Like, why not be bold for the person who will understand, who will find safety in your heart, being open enough to speak your truth? And so literally right with this conversation, we ended, it was like a perfect time for me to be like, okay, by the way, I recognize you. Like I recognize your soul. And we had this like beautiful moment that was just such a divine remembrance of the fact that we set each other free. We set each other free when we speak our truth. And she didn't know if I would receive that well, but I was able to like let her know that there is like comfortable safety between us, that we we can say those things boldly. And that, I feel like it also goes into the fact that our soul is going to attract the ones who are ready to hear what we have to say. So like, she thought from maybe previous experiences with other people, or maybe just assumption that like, if she told me that, she knew that I was someone she was told she would meet, that I would think she's crazy. Now, we don't know each other well, so she doesn't know that, like, that is my speed. I was like, oh, I can do weird, like, because I'm out here, I'll tell people about my dreams, my visions, I heard this one day, and I know that's true, and I got chills on this one day, or I found this, and it told me a message, God speaks to me in symbols, and I'm not gonna tiptoe around the unique way that God divinely speaks to my soul. But she doesn't know, right? Because if she had met with me, maybe 1 or 2 times prior to that, she'd hear something that comes crazy coming out of my mouth. But she didn't know that, so she was hesitant around me. And I think it also shows, like, we are meant to help the right people. We're also meant to know the right people. We're going to know the people who aren't going to see that what is the way God divinely speaks to your soul. We're not going to be met with people who think that's crazy or weird. We're actually on the journey of finding more people who are exactly like us, that, remind us that we're not alone, and we're going to be meeting more people who have stepped into the remembrance of who they are, the remembrance of their soul, the remembrance of God and Jesus, and who these are with us, through us, and all of these things. So that's like a whole other topic, but it's just beautiful. And we will always be met with the people who are meant for us, and we will learn that we're not alone, and we will learn that we are all as one, and that we can be bold, and we are feeling this energy shift to feel safe to do that, to love as we feel called to love, to shine our light in every way we feel like expressing it, even if it's different from yesterday. And someone's like, well, that's not like you. And you're like, who's to tell me what's like me? Because we can shift as much as we want, and we will always shine our truth in a way that resonates with others, that are meant for our soul. So this is my message to you, to be bold. Be so bold, and speak that. Speak, period. Speak as you feel called to. Say what when you feel like you shouldn't say something. Now, obviously, if it's like something with negative intent, sure, don't say that. But like, when you feel yourself refraining to say something, and you recognize it as hiding a piece of yourself in fear of rejection, say it anyway. Start to train yourself to recognize that we are free, we are safe to say these things that we feel called to. And in doing that, you are helping other people see that it is safe to do that too. And the more we do this, like, the less bold it will feel. Like, let's get to a point where we can be so bold now that we create a future where what once was bold is normal. That's what I want. I want it to be so normal to say, I had a dream last night that you were in. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And that's a mild, tame version. But I want it to be normal. I want us to be so just out there that not only are those who once thought they would never have a gift, have gifts surface, and they're like, oh, this is normal now. But the people who have been in their gifts, living these gifts for years, scared to share them? Can we please be bold for those who can learn from us later? You were not given that by accident, and it is not a curse. So, anyway, I love this topic. If you have anything that you want to share on this, or if you have a statement that is bold that you'd like to share in the comments with me, please do. Let your heart shine. Let it sing and dance to your rhythm. Let your truth be free in your words as you are guided to speak. And when you feel scared to share it, do it anyway. One day you won't be scared because you paved the way. I love you.